What's up, all you lovely people? Welcome back to the Bearded Entertainment. I'm your host, Eric, of course, and we got some opinions today that might ruffle some feathers. So stick around.
You're afraid of dying.
How do you know? You've never tried it before.
All right, everyone. Before we jump into this, if you could hit that like button, subscribe button, really does help me out. Gets the video out there with that whole YouTube algorithm thing. And with that out of the way, we're going to talk about Jenna Ortega. Now, Hollywood Reporter released an article yesterday basically saying she actually declined or pulled out of the movie months ago, which means it was before the actor strike. It was before SAG strike, because the SAG strike only ended earlier this month. So if it was more than 1 month, it was before the actor strike, which means July. I think it started in July. So she's been out of this movie for several months. And what was originally reported as scheduling conflicts has now come to light. It was actually a budget issue or salary issue, pay issue, however you want to put it. I think it's a budget issue, and I'm going to get into that. She was requesting the 7-figure salary. Now, for those of you like myself who are not great with zeros, that's in the millions of dollars. For 5 and 6, it was reported she made in the high sixes, which is hundreds of thousands. But for 7, she's requesting in the 7 figures. So the question of the day is Jenna Ortega worth in the 7 figures, so millions of dollars? For me, it's a resounding hell no. I can feel maybe some heat coming from that, but I want to explain myself before we get too much altercation going on. Essentially what I mean is, for the production, for Scream 7, she is not worth that much money. And here's why I say that. Scream is not a high-budget horror movie. It's not. The budget for Part 6 was $35 million. Let's say they get grateful that Scream 6 made money. They get generous and they lift that and they make it $40 million. And let's say Jenna was asking for $4 million. Well, that's 1/10 of the budget of the movie. 1/10 of the entire budget for the movie is going to one actor. It's not worth it. You're losing so much money on just one person, and you're taking away from the rest of the actors and the production itself. There's so many different aspects that money has to be spent on when making a movie. And paying 1/10 of your budget to one actor doesn't make sense. And Jenna is good. I'm not trying to take anything away from her. I'm just saying, for this, it doesn't make sense. Some of you may disagree. I've even seen people out there say the studio lowballed her. I'm going to disagree. I don't think, in this instance, I'm oddly on the side of the studio. I don't think they did the wrong thing here. I think they were in the right to not accept what she wanted, because the production would suffer in some way for it. What you can do instead, take $1 million, get 3 actors, because if you divide 1 million into 3 ways, you're still giving hundreds of thousands of dollars to different actors. Patrick Dempsey, for instance, was just in the movie Thanksgiving, which is doing great. It's literally breaking box office records. He got paid $300,000 for that movie. If you paid 3 different actors $300,000, that's only $900,000. So you could do that, still have $3,100,000 left over to spend on the production. Don't get Jenna Ortega in that situation. You don't. Let her go. She has plenty of other things to go do. She's not hurting for offers, y'all. I'm not saying don't sympathize with her because she's not going to be in Scream 7. I'm just saying this doesn't matter to her. I don't think it does. If she really, really wanted to be in Scream 7, she would have lowered her prices. She would have signed on to do 3 movies, which she didn't do. She only signed on to do 2 movies, and she did those, and now she's like, hey, pay me a lot of money to come back. My theory is she didn't want to come back. So she threw out a number that she expected the studio couldn't meet. So she's essentially saying, I don't want to do this movie, but if you pay me this much, I will. That's the way I feel about it. If she's worth that money, which I think she is, go get it. You're not going to get it from Scream. It's kind of like Van Gogh, for instance. Starry Night is my favorite painting of all time. It's worth an estimated $70 to $100 million. It's worth that. It really is. I'm not going to pay that. It does not make sense to pay that for me. I don't think it makes sense for the studio to pay Jenna Ortega that much money. She's probably worth it, but I don't think it makes sense for them to pay her for this project. There you go, everyone. That's my thoughts on it. I'm okay with her not being back in Scream 7 because I think they can spend that $4 million somewhere else and make it just as good, increase production value by that much money. There you are, everyone. That's my opinion that might ruffle some feathers. I know some people are die-hard Jenna Ortega, Tara Carpenter fans, and if you are, I'm glad you love that character so much. I just hope you can see it from the point of view that I'm coming from and how the production could suffer with it. If not, I'm sorry you don't see it that way. I hope you can still go out and enjoy Scream 7. We'll see where it goes. And with that, I really am going to end it. I love you all. Have a great, safe weekend.